When we look at ancient texts like the Tao Te Ching, we usually think of them as, well, philosophy or maybe poetry. But what if they're actually something more? What if they're a kind of coded message about how the universe really works? A message that only now, 2,500 years later, we can finally start to decrypt using the language of modern physics. So today, we're going to try and do just that. We're going to decode the hidden physics in just one chapter, Chapter 5. And right off the bat, Lao Tzu hits us with this really powerful and, let's be honest, kind of jarring statement. Heaven and earth, the universe itself, treats everything, and that includes us, as straw dogs. I mean, it sounds harsh, right? Almost cruel. But this isn't about morality. It's a riddle. It's a deep observation about the cosmos, and it really sets up the central mystery we're going to unravel. So which one is it? Is Lao Tzu telling us the cosmos is just cold and uncaring? Or is he pointing to a fundamental physical law that governs absolutely everything, from the biggest galaxies down to the cells in your own body? Let's peel back the layers here and see what modern science has to say. Okay, so to get this, we first have to understand what a straw dog even was. In ancient Chinese rituals, these were these beautiful ceremonial objects. They were crafted with care, treated with total reverence, but only during the ceremony. The second the ritual was over, they were just tossed aside, trampled, and left to return to the earth. You see, they were temporary forms, important for their role, but not something to be clung to once that purpose was served. And that's exactly what Lao Tzu was getting at. He's saying the universe runs without sentiment. It doesn't play favorites. The basic laws of physics, they apply just the same to a star, a planet, a person, or a pebble. The cosmos is this perfectly objective, self-sustaining system that doesn't mourn when one thing ends or cheer when something new begins. It just recycles. And believe it or not, modern physics has a name for this exact idea: the second law of thermodynamics. It sounds complicated, but it's basically the law of increasing entropy, or disorder. It just means that things in the universe naturally move from orderly states to more random, disordered ones. It's the reason your hot coffee always gets cold and never, ever spontaneously heats itself back up. It is the universe's ultimate one-way street. Okay, look at it this way. Imagine you have all these gas particles neatly bunched up in one corner of a box. That's a low entropy, very ordered state. Well, they're not going to stay like that, are they? They'll naturally and inevitably spread out to fill the entire container. They move to a state of maximum disorder, or high entropy. And this happens without any thought, without any intention. It's just what happens. And this, wow, this is where the straw dog idea just clicks into place on a massive cosmic scale. A star burns for billions of years, right? A revered central object in its solar system. And then it explodes in a supernova. All of its materials are unceremoniously discarded and scattered across space, only to become the building blocks for new stars and new planets. See? The universe doesn't cling to the form of that one special star. It impartially recycles its energy and matter, treating it just like a straw dog whose ritual has come to an end. So the universe is impartial. It recycles everything. But that's only half of the story in Chapter 5. Lao Tzu then shifts his focus from the things in the cosmos to the very space between them. And he describes it with another piece of intuition that is just mind-blowing. Think about a blacksmith's bellows. It's hollow, right? It seems empty. But when you pump it, it produces this powerful, seemingly endless supply of air. Lao Tzu says the universe is exactly like that, empty yet inexhaustible. It's a paradox that, for thousands of years, just seemed like a beautiful metaphor. Until very recently. Then, in the 20th century, physics finally caught up and discovered what Lao Tzu was talking about: the quantum vacuum. We used to think of empty space as just that, empty, a dead, boring void. But quantum field theory completely changed the game. It revealed that space is anything but empty. It is a seething dynamic field, absolutely boiling with a baseline energy called zero-point energy. All right, so let's break this cosmic bellows down. First thing, and this is the most important part, the vacuum of space is not truly empty. And the reason why is because of a fundamental rule of the quantum world, the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. It basically says you can never know everything about a particle all at once with perfect certainty. And because of this built-in cosmic fuzziness, the energy of any point in space can never be perfectly absolutely zero. Now, this constant energy isn't just some abstract number on a blackboard. It actually shows up as pairs of virtual particles that literally erupt out of the void, exist for an unimaginably short time, and then vanish back into it. This is the constant movement of the bellows that Lao Tzu talked about. And this roiling sea of quantum foam is a literally inexhaustible source of energy. It is the cosmic bellows, described with breathtaking accuracy thousands of years before we had any of the math to prove it was real. Just incredible. Okay, so the universe is an impartial, recycling system, and it's powered by an infinite energy source. That's a lot to take in. So the big question is, how does Lao Tzu suggest we live in a cosmos like this? Well, his final piece of advice is a kind of survival strategy, a way to navigate these huge forces of entropy and collapse.
He wraps up the chapter with this: much speech leads to exhaustion. It is better to hold to the center. Now, again, this sounds like some nice, simple philosophical advice, right? But let's do what we've been doing. Let's translate it into the language of physics.
And this comparison here just nails the translation. On one side, you have much speech. Now, that isn't just about talking too much. It's ego, it's interference, artificial rules. Basically, it's noise. In physics, when you try to pump too much control and information into a system, you just create high entropy. It's friction, it's overload, and eventually it leads to burnout and collapse. But on the other side, you have the center. That's stillness, low entropy. It's the clear signal underneath all that noise. It's a state of maximum stability and efficiency. And you know what? In quantum mechanics, that center he's talking about actually has a name. It's called the ground state. It is the most stable, lowest energy configuration that a system can possibly have. By cutting down on all that internal friction and external noise, a system gets to a state of peak stability. So Lao Tzu's advice, it's not just spiritual guidance. It's a deep physical principle for how to exist sustainably. So, let's bring all this home. What's the ultimate takeaway from this ancient lesson in cosmic physics? What does it all mean? Well, we've seen that the universe runs on these impartial, objective laws, the very same forces that govern the entire life cycle of a star, treating it like a temporary straw dog, are absolutely universal.
And those exact same laws are at work inside of us right now. From the cosmic scale down to the microscopic, the principles of entropy and energy are in charge, and they operate without any judgment, without any favoritism. The universe isn't for you or against you, it just is.
And when you really, truly get that, it's incredibly freeing. It means we can stop the exhausting, impossible struggle of trying to force the universe to bend to our will. We can stop generating so much noise, so much friction in our own lives. We are literally freed from the burden of trying to control the uncontrollable.
Which leaves us with one final, pretty profound question to think about. Lao Tzu showed us that the universe is powered by an inexhaustible bellows, the quantum vacuum. So, if the universe itself never ever runs out of energy, why do we? Maybe, just maybe, the answer has something to do with learning to stop fighting the flow and instead hold to the center.